This story is something else. Adam Schiff is back in the headlines, and what's happening around him right now feels like one of those moments where everything starts closing in all at once. Out of nowhere, he's suddenly calling out Judge Jeanine Pirro, and you can tell just by his tone that something about this situation has him seriously uneasy. Here's what's going on. Schiff's been loudly criticizing Judge Jeanine, saying she represents what's wrong with today's media and modern politics, but it doesn't sound like a normal critique. It sounds defensive, like he's trying to get ahead of a story that hasn't fully broken yet. He's questioning her credibility, digging up her past on-air statements, and even bringing up the massive Dominion lawsuit using Fox's hundreds of millions in settlement payments as proof that she can't be trusted. But here's where it starts to get really interesting. The timing. Right around the same period he began going after her, reports started surfacing that Schiff himself could soon be facing renewed scrutiny over his own financial and legal matters. So when you look at the timing side by side, it feels almost strategic, like he's trying to redirect attention before the conversation turns back toward him. It's the classic move. Control the narrative before the narrative controls you, and you can hear it in his tone. There's frustration, tension, and even a bit of panic in his delivery. He keeps repeating Judge Jeanine's name, emphasizing her past controversies, but to many people watching, it looks like overcompensation. It's as if the harder he tries to discredit her, the more it ends up shining a light back on his own situation. Online, viewers have definitely picked up on it. Many people are saying Schiff looks like someone trying to manage a crisis before it becomes public. Some even called it a meltdown, not necessarily because of what he said, but because of how he said it. The pacing, the intensity, the repetition, it all feels like someone who knows a storm might be coming and is doing everything possible to brace for it. And here's what makes this so fascinating. This isn't really about partisan politics anymore. It's about power, perception, and control. In today's world, public figures don't just battle over facts. They battle over emotion, timing, and optics. When a politician suddenly changes tone and starts going after someone so aggressively, it usually signals that something behind the scenes has shifted. And that's why so many people are watching Schiff's every word right now. To be fair, Schiff insists that he's simply calling out misinformation and doing what he thinks is right. But when someone's tone and focus shift this dramatically, it naturally makes people suspicious. And let's be honest, we've seen this kind of pattern before. Critics are already pointing out the irony here. Schiff has spent years positioning himself as the watchdog, the guy leading investigations, calling for transparency and accountability. But now that he's the one under the microscope, everything feels different. It's like the roles have reversed. The investigator suddenly finding himself being investigated, and through all of it, the internet is doing what it does best. Connecting dots, digging through archives, and analyzing every statement. Once that online spotlight turns your way, there's no dimming it. Even if Schiff meant his comments about Judge Jeanine as a straightforward critique, they've now turned into a much bigger story. What was supposed to be about her has now become about him. This entire episode is a perfect example of how fast public perception can flip. One comment, one emotional moment on camera, and suddenly the spotlight moves. That's how it works in today's media environment. One misstep and you're the headline. And once people sense that someone's under pressure, they start watching closer, replaying interviews, dissecting words, and waiting to see what happens next. So now the big question everyone's asking is this. Do you think Adam Schiff is genuinely speaking out because he's concerned about what's happening? Or is this his way of getting ahead of something bigger that's still waiting to come out?